Hello all. Hope you're all doing well. It's a bit of a first impressions, first look at the mighty Moog One here today. Let me know if you're online. Pop something in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to concentrate on, any areas or one thing and another. But yeah, I'm just going to have a look through some of the patches. It came loaded up with a whole bunch of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of ready-made stuff from Moog, stuff from other developers, and might even strip it back to just an init patch and have a look. But yeah, so that was that's one of the Moog patches. That's one from it's got like a nice bass here, nice pad in the middle. Nice little Moog lead up the top. That's right, Marco. Who needs a car? Wasn't that an ad? Who needs a truck when you could buy a Moog? Or who needs a truck when you can buy a synthesizer or something? I think that was... Yeah, it does sound quite choral, doesn't it, Clancy? Nice to see you. Yeah, it's all analog. Everything you're hearing is analog, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. That's the pad in the middle there. Pretty cool. Sorry, I just had to adjust a couple of settings there on the stream. It should all be coming through nicely now. Hopefully switching angles automatically. There we go. Just like I bought one. Cool. So yeah, as I said before, if there's anything you want to hear in particular, let me know. But I'm just going to have a play through some of these sounds and take you along for the ride. This is the first time I've had it in the lounge and briefly played it, but this is the first chance I've had to get it in the studio now and hook it up through the system. Really dig in, gave it a full calibration, which so everything should be back to factory settings. And yeah, some of these sounds are quite incredible. That resonance is something else, isn't it? And what's really cool is I know there's a lot of people that said, "Oh, the effects are they're amazing," but you know there's a lot of reliance on the effects. Well, I beg to differ. I mean, turn this off. So we turn this reverb, which is incredible. It's an incredible reverb. We'll turn the reverb off. Check this out. This is without the reverb. Oh, it's so good. That resonance is insane. That's both, Clancy. That's both filters going in parallel on that sound. So what Clancy's referring to there, so the Moog One's got two filters. You've got a state variable filter and you've got a ladder filter. And you can route the oscillators through either of them or both of them. And if you're putting it through both of them, you can put them in serial, which one to the other, or parallel, so both at the same time. So that particular sound, you can see here, is going through both all the oscillators, 1, 2, and 3, for all the panels, I think. Yeah. So they're going through, we've got, that's layered. So if we look at how that patch is put together, let me just turn this camera switching off. Right, so we've got three timbres for that. We've got a Polymoog left on its own. We've got a Polymoog right channel on its own on panel 2, and then on panel 3 we've got a string ensemble patch. So, and that's very slow. So what we can do is we can isolate those. So if you want to just turn those panels off, this is just the string ensemble patch. So this has got a really slow attack. You can hear it hasn't even, there you can just hear it coming in now. So this evolves over a very long time, which is very cool. But if you want to see what's going on with these other ones here, so you can see these are going through, so state variable and ladder filters in parallel. So you lay them all together and you get this huge. Just hear that string coming through on top. So I wonder what this will sound like if I take the resonance off. So these are also all first one's going through a 12 dB filter, then a 24 dB, and a 24 dB. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take the resonance off for all of these panels and see what it sounds like without the resonance. Oh, that is lush. I'm even going to take the effects off. So this is just raw, no resonance, no effects. So let's play something other than something in a minor key. Just shows you how fast you eat voices. So this is the 16 voice model, and even playing that, I chewed through all 16 voices. So just shows you how you can really eat up voices. It is. It's like analog omnisphere. Why don't we take some of the attack off all of these? Get a real fast attack sound. I mean, you can just, really... Let's turn that string off because we're not really using that. Let's take the release down on these sounds and we'll get like a polysynth sound now. Layer in that synthesis of the string as well. Oh yeah. I love it. Let's take that release down. That effect. So let's dive into the effects while we're talking about effects. So that's pretty funky. Let's put just a touch of reverb on, but maybe not that huge big bloom type reverb. So if we just hit these, so these little triangles, if you can see these little triangle shaped buttons in the corner of each section, they basically make the screen go to that section. So all the parameters first. So I go Master Effects, hit that triangle button. You can see the screen here. So we've got that's currently on Eventide. So it's an Eventide. All killer Eventide studio grade effects in here. This is Eventide Black Hole. So that's going to be way too atmospheric for this type sound. As soon as I'm coming up with some kind of like polysynth funk thing. So let's change that to, let's just go an Eventide plate. Just a default plate reverb. It's more like it. And we go to the parameters here. Let's see what we've got. So it's a little small, the space, so I'm going to make that a bit bigger. Bit less. Yeah, so you get the idea. So there's heaps of different options in here. Take it to like a hall reverb. Reverb for days. Obviously an infinite reverb. All right, let's look at some other sounds here. What do we got? So what I might do is load up the there is some classic sounds here. So you can go into, let's go into the settings, and I loaded them into a separate. You can have complete separate like user setups. So if different people are using the synth, you can have your sound set just for you and everything's set up just for you. So you can have complete user spaces, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen that on too many synths. So if we go into switch user space, so I was on mine there, called, there you go, Mike. But there's a one I loaded in here called Classics, I think. Is this the one I loaded in? I think it was. We will soon find out. No, it wasn't. There you go. You can tell this is the first time I've used this. Oh yeah, this was a sound I came up with. I was just messing with. I wanted to get like a polysynth in the right hand and a really funk Moog 3 oscillator mini Moog bass in the left hand. So I thought I'd come up with this. Which is pretty crazy that you can actually get a full-on mini mode bass and layer it with this, and that's only using 2 panels, so I've still got a spare panel left over. So, you know. Bass going through the ladder filter. I'm going to take the resonance off to really bring out that bottom end. Make sure I'm not distorting that input. And then for this, I've got like a sort of, I guess it's like Memory Moog meets Oberheim type brass sound in the right hand. And that's going through both the ladder filter and the state variable filter in parallel when you get that. And I've got some aftertouch vibrato, so just bring that in. Put them together. You have lots of fun. That's all with no effects, so that's just completely dry synth. Let's get something a bit more aggressive on that polysynth. Let's get rid of that decay and make a really sharp attack. These envelopes are just so quick. easy access to this pitch modulation over here. It's just automatically routed to LFO1 all the time, which is so good if you want to get more like, vintage for this. It's just right there. Super accessible, man. Like, look at this. 4 LFOs just sitting there, blinking, going, connect me to something. And it's so easy here because you've got all these buttons here if you want to connect anything. Let's put some effects on. It's just so fat. It's just ridiculous. It's so good. Let's get that bass opened up on that ladder filter. Why don't we change this, make it instead of so. Oh, this is the other cool thing. Check out this unison for this brass. So let's turn the effects off again. You can get super detuned sounds. So if we just start off. Gets pretty ridiculous, pretty crazy, pretty quickly. It's so good in a good way. Ridiculous good. Change this wave shape, make it a bit mellow out this bass. Take some of that reverb off. Just you can go so many different directions so quickly. It's just so much power under the hood. All right, let's have a look through some of these other preachers. Let me answer a few questions actually. Who's in the chat? That's right, man. Moog descended from outer space to bless us with these instruments and spaceships. Indeed they did, and thank goodness they did. This is the 16 voice version. Country Fair. Samuel, good to see you. Carlos, how are you? G'day, Mick. How you going, mate? G'day, Glenn. Oh, g'day from Colorado in the US. Love the Moog. My voice is mixed a bit low. Yeah, I put the microphone down so it wouldn't get too much noise in the way of the synth. Wes says, so is this baby yours? Are we going to have the pleasure of seeing you use it for years to come? No, this one's on loan, mate. I wish it was mine. I certainly wish it was mine. There you go. Go and tell Moog they should give me one so I can keep playing it for you guys for years to come. G'day to Canada. Robert says, did you just get this and why so long? I'm confused. I've got a loan of this recently. Let's have a look at a few more of these sounds. I'm going to load up the default sounds that come preloaded into us when you get it from the factory. Let's go back to the load in the switch user space to this was Mike. That was the default one. Okay, let's have a look what we have here. So there's so many ways to browse all these sounds. You can go through. Let's have a look. Let's start at the start, shall we? Let me know if there's any particular types, any genres, types of sounds. Want to hear leads, basses, pads, strings, brass? Let me know, and I'll dig in for you. Thanks, Wes. Let them know. I'll keep playing it on stream. Fernando says, Mike, some years I bought from you patches for my Sub 37. Now I need it, and link does not work. I emailed you. Please help. No worries, man. I'll get back to your email. Yes, no, I haven't purchased it, Robert. I've got it on loan. All right. Let's have a look. Let's play some more sounds. Blades. All right. I do wonder, is this going to be a Blade Runner type sound? There you go. So it is. Let's have a look. Show notes. This one says, I like you can put patch notes in here as well. So it says, Ode to the Replicant Hunter. So I think we all know this is a Blade Runner reference. This one has some very fun XY pitch effects and rhythmic pulsations available via the mod wheel. So yeah, we've got an XY. Oh no, let's have a look here. Can we see it there? Yeah, you've got an XY pad here next to these very beautiful, are they aluminium or steel? Or something very heavy and metal. Titanium or something? It'd be light, wouldn't it? I don't know, they feel very sturdy. There's a lot going on in there. There's a lot going on. All right. Ed says, let's hear some deep bass notes. All right, let's fire up some bass patches. So everything is categorized. If we go home here to browse presets, and we can go to type. Bass. There we go. Bass sounds. Make sure you're listening with headphones or monitors or something. So that's using the state variable filter and the ladder filter in parallel again. So that's if we tweak the ladder filter, we get that. If we tweak the state variable filter, we get that. So we've got two going in parallel here, which is pretty cool. And you can also, I'll just reset that patch just so I can get back to where we started. You can also link the cutoff between both of them. Oh, that's pretty cool. That, I hope that's translating over, you know, the compression of OBS / YouTube / Facebook, because that, in my Sennheiser headphones here, is some of the most brain-shaking bass I've ever heard. I really hope it's translating. And that sounds absolutely huge in person. So I really hope that it is translating over the internet. If it's not, you'll just have to take my word for it, because I wouldn't set you wrong. But it's definitely, it's massive. It sounds incredible. So, yeah, Bubble Films can attest that it sounds huge in person. There you go. Mick Harris. I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you? You'd like to buy some patches for your Sub 37? Oh, well, I'll put a subtle plug in. Go to my website at mikepensini.com and you'll see a link there if you'd like any funk patches. All right, let's keep going with some bass patches here. Chisel 316 says, "Hey Mike, you are an incredible musician." Oh, thank you very much. Always look forward to watching your videos. Very inspirational piece. Oh, thank you, Chisel 316. Hope you're having a great day or evening wherever you are in this world. Okay, we've got more of a square bass here. So this is a good example. I'm assuming this is only using one panel. Let's have a look. So let's go back to home. Yeah, so it's one panel. If we turn up this unison knob. So check this out. So this is when we've got a mono sound with unison. It should get. It's huge. And you can actually set how many voices it can use. So you can dedicate, I think, up to, well, let's see, unison count, 4. You can dedicate up to 4 voices here just to mix into the... Without, it's still fat, but with. Sounds pretty incredible, doesn't it? It's very cool. All right, let's keep moving through some of these patches. Browse presets. Still on bass. Big dark bass. That's exactly what it says. All right, brutal bass. I mean, all your Moog basses are covered. Carpenter bass, there you go. So yeah, there's no shortage of bass options here. Dual filter bass, so this is using a whole bunch of combinations of in serial for here you go. So here's the filters, the state variable and the ladder filter in series. So we've got SVF and the ladder on oscillator 1 and 3, and oscillator 2 we've just got the state variable. I don't think there's any other, no, it's only one panel. So let's turn all these effects off and let's just have a listen to that. If we tweak, now this is in series, so if we tweak the state variable before it goes into the ladder filter, it's pretty cool. And if we do the opposite, if we tweak the ladder filter after it's been through the state variable, so it just gives you way more color options for shaping the sound when you've got those two filters. And again, that sounds huge here. You can get these sweet spots I've found. So if you just tweak the state, when you use them both, if you just get this sweet spot of both filters, you can still get that fat resonance, but you don't lose all the bottom end. So sounds huge. No, this says channel aftertouch, not poly aftertouch, which is fine for me, to be honest. And no, this has got the XY pad instead of the ribbon strip, which is, you know, different vibes. Let us have a look. Let's keep going here through some of these bass presets. We'll move on to something else soon. What's next? What sound category should we do next, guys? Let me know. That's cool. This keybed too is, I'm going to put it out there, I think it is the best feeling keybed of any synth I've ever played in my life. There's something about it. So they're longer keys than usual, I think, though they feel longer. And they've got a roundness to them, especially like the black keys are almost like rounded on top, but they've got this awesome, you probably can't see it. Let's have a look. Is that gonna, no, it's not gonna show up on camera, but it's got this like wood, almost like wood grain, grippy texture to the black keys. So I don't know if you've ever played a really nice grand piano that's got that textured black keys. So they're sort of slimmer but rounded but textured. So and the action is just so perfect. The way aftertouch engages is so perfect. So they almost have like a weight to them because there's something about just having that longer key. It's almost like I don't know if it's got weights underneath. I'm gonna have a look. Hang on. I don't know. I can't see any, but they feel. I've never seen keys like this on any synth ever. They must be unique to the Moog One because I've never seen anything like this before. This bass sounds great. Woohoo! That's huge. Italo bass. Oh, it's got to be like. All right, well, we could spend all day looking at, there you go, mini bass. I'm guessing this is like a mini Moog type thing. Oh, yeah. There you go, there's your 3 oscillator mini Moog bass. Bubble Films says the only negative of mine is a few mid-octave keys creak a bit. Oh, really, man? All of these are smooth as butter. I'm gonna say, turn the volume down. It's like it's got the quietest keyboard. Definitely the quietest keyboard I think I've played. Super, super smooth. Whole thing's like butter, man. Maybe get that checked. These are all really smooth. And I don't think this is a super brand new one too. I think this has been. So let's turn this into a bit of a lead vibe. Two oscillators. Let's take this down. Let's just get rid of the state variable. Let's just run it through the ladder filter. Bit of resonance. Where's our EG amount? There we go. Turn unison off. Maybe just down. Smoother type mini sound. That's nice. Bit of delay. Reverb. And beautiful. Let's change these shape of these oscillators a little bit. It's just limitless. You can just go in so many directions. Cool. All right, let's move along here. Let's have a look at some other type sounds. So we were looking at bass sounds. Let's move on to, was there a vote for the next category? Yeah, the keyboard is amazing. Oh, g'day, Jeffo. How are you, mate? Good to see you. Hope your stream went well. They are FATAR. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're they were using FATAR keybeds. I'm not sure if they're doing. I don't know. Are they doing them in house or are they still FATAR? I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. It's a FATAR TP9. Well, there you go. It's fantastic. All right. Yeah. Oh man, this is totally. This is totally different to the OB6. Totally different to the OB6. As far as the keyboard, so I wouldn't have even thought it was the same keyboard. It's but yeah, super. I mean, the OB6 keyboard's great. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like this. These keys on this feel really long, and they've got those curved black notes with the texture on them, and they're super smooth. It's very cool. Vimana says, hi from Finland. Just joined the chat. I'm a musician, love the old Yamahas and a bit newer Novations. Can you make a human voice-like sound using dual filters like a CS15? I probably could. Not sure if I could do it on cue now, but I'm sure it is possible. Pads. We've had a vote for pads as the next category. James says, I'd love to get one and build a MIDI controller, but don't have the experience. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can buy the keyboard from this just on its own, like separately. But because I haven't seen it. Let me know. If you find it, put a link in the chat. I'd like to check it out. Or, better yet, I'm going to put a plug in for my Discord. Is this going to show up? No, it's not going to show up, is it? Should go and join the Discord if you haven't already. Make sure you go and it's where we sort of talk about all this stuff between streams with a bunch of really cool people. And I put when I'm going live and all that kind of thing. So you can check it out. So if you want the link, go to... I'm going to put the link up now. I've had to move my keyboard, actual like computer keyboard over because this thing is huge. Won't fit on the desk. But if you go to mikepansini.com/links, go there and you'll be able to get the invite link to the Discord. And yeah, I'd like to continue this. There's a gear chat subforum in the Discord. So go and let's talk about this keyboard and stuff there because I'd like to know more about this TP9 of which you speak. All right. Bubble Film says, will I be creating a bank of patches while I have the one? Possibly, if there's enough demand for it. I mean, how many people own the one that would want a bank of my patches? That's the question. So I'll have to see. If there's enough demand, I will definitely look into creating a bank for sure. Cool. Yeah, man. Contact them on their website. All right, pads. We've had a request for pads. Here we go. Pads it is. Oh, wow. Look at this. There's subcategories. We've got cinematic, classic, evolving, lush, modern. There you go. There's so many options. All right. We'll just go general pads. Here we go. Wow. There we go. Amazing to remember that all of this is analog. No digital oscillator. This is all just analog oscillators. That just blows my mind. That's nice. All right, Astral Dream Force. Well, that's pretty epic. That's huge. Ooh, I like that. It is cool sound. Yeah, I like this one from Anna. It's good. All right, what else we got here? Big cloudy cumulus. That sounds... Oh, it's very floaty, isn't it? Very... It's got like a Selena, it's like a Polymoog sort of sound to it, doesn't it? So many pads. Ooh, that one's a bit hotter. Should have hooked up a sustain pedal, shouldn't I? That's using the state variable filter. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to turn all the effects off. Yeah, that one's quite heavy on the effects. You're right. There you go. Good ears. It's like a pipe organ. A little bit of Strawberry Fields if you hold it down. It's amazing this is all coming from analog. Everything's analog. When you get those two filters in parallel. So by linking the cutoff and just tweaking just the ladder filter when we've got them both in parallel, I mean, you can just hear the tonal differences just by manipulating that one filter. But you've still got all those highs coming through. It's just incredible. I didn't really truly get the whole benefit of these dual filters until I started messing with them. I was like, just like, I mean, I've got that ladder filter almost off there, but you can hear all that beautiful stuff coming through. I just love how the highs never get harsh either. It's always smooth. Yeah, it's got this airiness to it that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but sorry guys, it's just started absolutely bucketing down rain here, so I hope there's not too much noise on the mic. What was I going to say? Yeah, there's this airiness to it, right? So, I mean, let me turn all the effects off. That high, it's like a fizziness without a harshness. It's really, really beautiful and musical. I haven't heard that too much on pure analog synths. Let's have a look if there's a... what do you want to see if there was an ensemble effect? Let's have a look. Effect types. Oh, there you go. Ensemble. That's what it's on. So yes, indeed it does. And in fact, I'm not sure if it was on. Now I'll turn it on. So we've got dark space, default, huge swirl, large vibrato, negative space. That's what we're currently on. Let's put it on positive vibes instead. That's beautiful. Yeah, you're right. Ensemble, indeed. It is a versatile synth. Bubble Films. Bubble Film says many people are put off by the high cost, but it's basically 3 analog synths in one, really capable of many sounds. That's exactly right. I mean, like most of these sounds that you've been listening to are one panel, right? So this whole thing is one panel, and you've got 3 panels in this synth. So you can have this whole sound that you're listening to now. That. That's one panel. So, I mean, if you wanted a ridiculously huge pad, you could layer that with, well, I mean, you know, what could you layer it with? Let's have a look. Let's go synth. What's on synth 2 at the moment? Let's turn that off. Let's go to synth 2. I'll show you something cool that you can do. For instance, so this is... That's on panel 1. So if we go into the presets, for instance, let's say we want to get like an arpeggiated vibe. So let's go to arpeggiated sounds. Remembering that we've got that beautiful big lush pad on panel 1, right? So we go to arpeggiate. I'm not sure what these sounds sound like, but what you can do is let's just take this first one called Air Pluck. What we can do is go to synth 2 and we can load that into synth 2. So we've already got that pad on synth 1. So if we go like that, if I'm doing this right, this is going to make a liar out of me now, isn't it? Because I probably don't know how to use this. Probably let's go back home. Yeah, there we go. So we've still got Cosmic Pad on channel 1, and we've got this resonance pad on channel 2, but we don't have any sound because I've got something turned off, do I? Or what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Moog One owners, why don't I have any sound? What's going on? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just very slow. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, let's transpose that up an octave. So for instance, there we go. Maybe not a very good arpeggiator example, but you can basically then turn on that pad, and now you've got the arpeggiator as well. No, it's all working now. I just had the tempo down very slow. So it's just so much power. So many panels. 3 panels. What more could you want? All right, so we've got some, let's go to some cinematic, or some brass sounds. What have we got? Brass? What else? Cinematic. I want to go cinematic. I like cinematic sounds. I mean, the Moog does cinematic sounds really well. Oh, here we go. An Oberheim-inspired multi-patch. Mod wheel opens the filter. XY pad increases the state variable filter resonance and filter FM amount. Oberheim. I like anything Oberheim. Let's have a look. Oh, now that is a nice pad. Oh, could be my favorite pad sound so far. Oh, yes. So the mod wheel opens a filter, and the XY pad increases the resonance and FM filter. Oh, that is nice. Well, let's put that halfway up. Wow. That is very cool. That is cool. All right, I'm going to have a noodle on this one. Yeah, it starts off warm, but it gets really like, you can... Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Okay, don't know too many other analog synths that sound like that. Especially modern analog synths. Beautiful. Cool. All right, I'll keep moving through some of these presets. Cinematic fullness. Looks interesting. All right, I'm just flying through these and just gonna fly through these. If any names catch my fancy, oh, that's nice. Yeah, it is instant film score. It is quite CS80ish, sort of, yeah, somewhere between that and an Oberheim, that last patch. Absolutely. Fomana, that's for sure. Yeah, these presets all sound really good. I think that a lot of them are new since I played it. Like, I played, must have been a prototype a long time ago. And a lot of these are new ones. That's cool. So you got a pan control here as well. I like tape delay. Sounds really good. Turn all those effects off. Yeah. Cool. All right. What else we got? That sounds... What does that sound like? Sounds like a synth, but I know. D Carmich 00. No, this one's on loan, mate. This is a loaner. This one is not mine. It's very profiters, isn't it? That's it. Heaps, dudes. Heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps. Like, you know, I'm just skimming through a few of them, but there's, you know, there's a million. I don't know, is it limitless, like the amount that you can have in here as far as... I remember that I don't think there's a limit on the amount of patches you can create. Like the user space is just huge. All right, I want to get to some like funky brass sort of vibes. Let's see what we've got here. Because I want to see how it does more sort of classic. A lot of these are still quite paddy brass sounds. That's nice. I love anything with a bit of that noise, breath noise. This keyboard's so quick. So that's a combination of, what do we got here? We got a ladder filter on oscillator 2 and a state variable filter on oscillator 1. This is the 16 voice, Mike. Yeah, I haven't heard too many people playing just like, you know, classic polysynth sounds. Like, obviously it does the cinematic thing so incredibly well on these massive, lush cinematic pads. But I just want to play some, you know, some bread and butter stuff. See how they work out. It's all great brass sounds for different uses. Some of those effects. Definitely has a Moog flavour, doesn't it? Everything. Can't mistake it for anything else. That's nice. Tom and Bob's Brass. All right, this has got to be Oberheim inspired. Oh! Hello. Now we're talking. I love this patch. All right, let's have a look at the notes. 2 brass sounds for the price of 1. Use the mod wheel to go from ladder filter brass to the Oberheim style brass. Okay, so obviously it's going to be between the ladder filter and the state variable filter. So, aha. Oh, wow. They're both awesome, and you can blend them. That's a sweet spot there. So, oh, man. Let's just adjust that so it doesn't open quite so much. There we go. Just turn that down a little bit. Stretch in, Mike. There it is. And that's no effects. Look at that. That's just dry. That's so sick. Love it. Yeah, right. Let's yeah, if we get rid of some of that see if we can just get straight polysynth, straight square like. Oh yeah. So to give you an idea here, if you want to, for instance, how easy it is to route any of the controllers to any of the different sections. So at the moment, Aftertouch isn't doing anything. Or maybe very slightly. So if I want to route it to like pitch modulation, let's say something like that, just press Aftertouch, and then it says Source Aftertouch, turn a knob, or press a button to choose the destination. So we just turn that up, and now it should just, there you go. Just like I bought one. So fat. Wonder if we can turn up the unison mode. Yes, we can. Find a nice little sweet spot there. So here we go. A little bit of release. tiny bit of filter quack on that. So. Haha. Woo! Yeah, I love this. Sold. Love it. Love it. Very cool. Right. Bubble Film says, Mike, your funky playing style would sell a lot of Moog Ones. Yeah, it sounds huge, man. It's great. Yeah, and the bass part of that patch, it's just, that's one patch. It's not split or anything. I don't know if there's an editor for the Mac, man. I'm not sure if there's an editor at all. I'm not aware of one. There could well be. Vimana says, is there also a panel option, a way to get the sound just like all the buttons and sliders are set? I'm not sure, mate. Maybe. I could not tell you. This is the first time I've really dug into it. So I still have a lot of questions myself, but I'll look that up and let you know. If you're in the Discord, pop it in the Discord, and I will, we can look into it. Cool. All right. What else we got here? Let's maybe look at some lead sounds. We've looked at some pretty, funky brass stuff. What have we got in the leads domain? Here we go. Well, that's that, isn't it? All right. That's a nice lead. Oh, tell me about it. That's what I was saying. Now I brought this in yesterday, put it on the desk. Now I've got no room to actually put my computer keyboard. Anyway, it's just it's huge. But I've also got no room left in the studio. That's it, Mike. Buy one. Thomas, how are you, mate? Good to see you. It's very versatile, isn't it? I mean, you can get absolutely everything out of this thing. Get rid of some of these effects. Yeah, it's cool. Call and response lead. Okay. Is what it says it is. It's nice. Wow, that's huge. That is next level. Okay, so that takes the oscillator up an octave, one of them. Let's turn that delay off, so let's just get the dry sound. Holy moly. So like, what's this sequencer vibe here? I haven't actually, I've got no idea. I have not read the manual. I have no idea how to use it. I've just literally seen it for the first time here and gone, how does that work? So let's see. Let's see if an idiot like me can figure it out without reading the manual. Does that work? What if I play that now? Did that work? Did that do anything? Will I have to read the manual? No. There you go. Clever. D-tune time. Well, that was fun. There you go. Yeah, that patch is called Freakin' Enormous, and I'd say they named that quite adequately. Bubble Film says, Keith Emerson looking down, smiling. Oh, that's very nice. System 8 is great, mate. There it is, up there, blinking away in green. You can't miss it. There's not too many synths that go green like that. Ring modulator on the wheel. No, I think it puts it could be, but I think it's just transposing the one of the oscillators up an octave as well. Neil says, hi, Mike. Can you describe how the keyboard feels to play? Yes. Amazing. I think it's my favorite keyboard. One of my favorite key beds, sorry. One of my favorite key beds to play. It's just so nice. So good. In action, depth, weight, etc. Yeah, well, I touched on this before. Very long. The keys are quite long. And, you know, some people say they're slim, but I don't know if they're slim or they just seem slim because they're so long. But the black keys are rounded and textured. So they're sort of slightly grippy. Really, really nice. And they almost do feel, I mean, they're non-weighted, they're synth action. But they've got like a nice sort of momentum to them. Because they're so long, you know, the pivot point, if you get really short keys, right, the pivot point of the key is a lot closer to where you're pressing it down. So as it gets harder to press. Also, here's a sign of a good keyboard for me, right? As you see how easy it is to press a key. Any keyboard's easy to press down on the tip of the keyboard, right? Then, as you move up the keyboard, if it's a short key and it's pivoted really close to the key, it gets progressively harder until it's like, if you're trying to press the key here, it's really hard to press, right? Now, if you get a good grand piano, the way a grand piano action works is it doesn't matter if you're pressing the key here or you're pressing the key there. It's exactly the same weight. It doesn't change. And this is like that. This, I don't know if this key is super long or the way they've done it, but basically, if you want to play into the keyboard like this, right? And you've got right up close here. I mean, I can play just as fast. Right up close to that. You try doing that with a cheap action, and you can't. It's like almost impossible to press the key up there. Whereas, you know, which forces you to sort of really play on the tips of the keys, which is less than ideal, especially when you're playing chords and stuff like that. Or you're doing really choppy stuff. But as you can see, with something like this, the action's beautiful. It's got a slight sort of weight to it, bit of momentum, and it just feels incredible. It's quiet. It's super fast. I'm going to find like a nice lead that I can just... There you go, Mr. Emerson. There's your Emerson sound. Here we go. So I'll just show you. It's like really... So fast to play this action. So we take that glide off. Really how fast that action is. So yes, the action is a delight to play. Any Tony Banks patches? Probably, man. I haven't checked all the patches yet. There's a lot of patches in here, and I'm sure there's a lot available online as well. No worries, Neil. Oreo Manoni Intense. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vimana. Seen some of your other videos. Definitely enjoy them. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, man. No, the Summit keyboard is fantastic. That's that's one of my absolute favorite keyboards as well. That's that feels great, man. The Summit. Be interesting to see how they compare. Yeah, let's do a little A/B here. Let's have a look. I've got the Summit. So, let's see, the Summit's great as well. They're completely different keyboards, but they're equally really nice. So the Summit is, you know what I was saying before about the keys being sprung, right? So you can see, even if you go all the way up the key bed, even though the Summit, I reckon, it's a shorter key. Yeah, it's definitely a much shorter key than the Moog One. They're sort of, I mean, they look fatter, the keys, but I'm not sure if that's just because they're a shorter key. But the black notes are definitely, they've got like, they definitely seem fatter. They're not textured. But as you move up the key, see, it's still really easy to play all the way up the key, like a hammered action, like the Nord, right? As you move way up, you can play right near the chassis of the instrument, and it's still quite smooth to play. If you get a cheap action, or a cheaper action, I don't know. Well, I don't know if that's always true. The fact is, like, you know, I've seen some expensive instruments that are actually, keybeds are pretty horrible. But I won't mention any names. But yeah, no, the Novation's beautiful. The Summit is really beautiful to play. Aftertouch responds really well on both, but they're both beautiful. Yeah, they're both great. Absolutely no complaints. They're just very different feeling actions. They're just sort of, you know, you've got longer keys on the Moog, and the textured black notes. Then they're a bit rounded as well, but they're both great. Cool. No, the Novation's not patched in, man. So I was just tapping the keys just to get a feel for what the keys felt like. Man, the Novation Summit's fantastic. Yeah, beautiful. They're both great synths. Both awesome synths. The Moog, actually, you know, all these synths are awesome. I wouldn't own them if they weren't awesome. Cool. Supernova, man. The Supernova's a classic. It's a great synth. Okay, what else have we got here? Just having a quick Searing 78. That is indeed Searing. Did I have to purchase new cabling? No, but I had to unplug some synthesizers because I've run out of channels. So no, I don't. This isn't a permanent setup here on the desk. This is this is just to do a bit of a show and tell for you guys today. If you got any questions and that, and also I'm going to do a few demos and a few little sound clips and one thing and another going forward. You did indeed see an ARP. I've got a ARP Odyssey up there, and I've got a vintage 1974 black and gold ARP Odyssey that's not on display, but it's currently undergoing a very long restoration process. But that's the reissue up there, indeed. All right, guys. Well, I might wrap this up soon, but I see you're streaming from Windows PC, but have MacBook Pro next to it. Yes, well spotted. So my MacBook Pro is sort of my main audio machine, but I use my PC to stream. So that's that. Isn't it easy to work with MIDI audio on a Mac? Yes, I do. I do. All of my Mac is my studio machine. Absolutely. But no, audio hijack, loopback, no way, man. That is a nightmare. That is a recipe for disaster. I've got everything hardwired. So I've got everything going into my audio Mac as per normal, so that just runs beautifully. I don't have to mess with any kind of internal loopback audio hijacking there, and then I just literally have a stereo pair of cables going out of that into a completely separate, really nice audio interface on the streaming PC. So it's takes care of all of that. No worries, Bubble Films. Thank you for tuning in. Lovely to see you. Robert says, weird question, but what do you think about the Novation Summit versus Yamaha Mode Dx6? I don't have a Mode Dx6, but they're very different. Yeah, very different machines. I mean, the Summit's it's got FPGA oscillators and analog filters versus the Mode Dx, which is essentially a rompler with an FM synth built in. So, you know, I guess if you want something general purpose that has pianos and Rhodes and, you know, all your bread and butter sounds, Mode Dx is sort of would be more along that line. But if you want a Summit's more for, you know, more for synth stuff. Yeah, have you ever thought of using Mimo Live or similar to stream natively on the Mac? I used to stream natively on the Mac, but it's just too much. I like keeping the system separate. So PCs are way better for streaming. That's just the way it is for running OBS, for all of that. There's a whole bunch of awesome stuff and plugins and all that just are killer on the PC. They're not even available on the Mac. And Macs just aren't optimized for streaming. So Macs are great for audio. I just do all the audio stuff on that, and I've built a PC dedicated to streaming that just does that much better. Supernovas are only for trance music, but that's rubbish. That is rubbish. No, supernovas are fantastic. Use it for anything. They're just a good synth. You could say that about any synthesizer. No worries, Robert. How does the Moog One action compare to the DX7 action? Oh, man, well, look, this Moog One's a brand new instrument versus the DX7 that came out in, I think my DX7's from 1983, so it's nearly as old as I am. So they're very, you know, it's much noisier. The DX7 action's really loud and sort of, you know, clunky, but I don't know if that's just because it's nearly 40 years old, or if that's just how they were when they were new. I can't remember. But the DX7 feels great to play. DX7 action's very light. It's much lighter. I'd say it's even lighter than the Moog One action. The keys are very easy to press. The aftertouch is quite easy to trigger on the DX7. Probably triggers a bit easier than the Moog One, but the Moog One's very nicely balanced. They're both great. They're just very, very different feeling actions. Like, you know, the keys would be a bit shorter on the DX, and they don't have those rounded textured black keys like the Moog. How would I compare the Moog One sound with the vintage Moogs? Look, man, I mean, I've played, like, today was probably the first time I've really dug in, so I haven't got enough, I wouldn't say, to make a thoroughly informed opinion. But I guess it's like anything, vintage versus modern. I mean, you know, something like, I've got two other Moogs up there. So I've got the Sub 37 and I've got the Grandmother. And, you know, I dare say they sound different to vintage Moogs as well. I think the Moog Grandmother's probably one of the most vintage sounding ones because it's based on those old modular Moog filters and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, you can make, a lot of this is in the programming. I mean, the sounds on this thing, the capabilities of this thing, and the features, and what you have inside it. I mean, 16 voices, and just, you know, 3 panels, not even to mention the incredible effects, but just everything else. It's just, yeah, you've got the powers at your fingertips. There were some of those mini Moog type sounds that you heard before. I don't know if you heard me playing those bass sounds, but they sound, to me, to my ears, they sound, you know, very similar to the type of sounds that you get on something like a Voyager or something like that. You know, of course, old instruments are going to have their, like, truly vintage instruments, like 70s mini Moogs and that. They're going to have their older components, which will have aged, and they might drift a bit more, so they sound the way they sound, but they all sound different depending on the particular one you have. But I think it's fantastic. You know, I think the actual raw sound of the oscillators in this sound, they sound fantastic. They really do. And also, between the state variable filter and the ladder filter, you can take it to, you know, Oberheim territory. You can take it to CS80 territory. You can take it to Prophet almost territory. Like, you know, it goes in a lot of directions. It doesn't just, but you mean, of course, you can get it sounding very Moogish, either like a memory Moog or a mini with that ladder filter. But with the two filters, being able to put them in series, being able to put them in parallel, There's just, as I said, this is the first time. I mean, how long have we been streaming now? I've been online for like nearly 2 hours. That's probably the most, it's definitely the most I've sat down with this. So I look forward to digging in more in depth, and I can definitely see how, see how it compares, I guess, to the old stuff. But I mean, what in the way of old Moogs, polyphonic old Moogs, what do we have to compare it to? I mean, you've got the Poly Moog, which is a completely different beast, or you've got the Memory Moog, which is again, it's a different beast. So, I mean, I think a lot of people sort of expected this to be a Memory Moog when it was released, and it definitely can do that vibe, but it can also do a heck of a lot more as well. Right. Let me just catch up on... Yeah, absolutely, Vimana. You've got to try anything for yourself. Don't believe what anyone says, me or anyone else for that matter, mate. We all... I mean, I don't have an agenda or anything. I just, I've got my own opinions that have formed over my own experiences and career and everything else. But at the end of the day, I mean, synths to me, they're tools that you need to be inspired by. So it doesn't matter how inspirational a particular instrument might be for one person, it just might not click with you. But for me, this Moog, for instance, everything I have here, if it doesn't inspire me, I don't keep it. So, everything in my studio between the Summit, the System 8, the ARP, the Moogs, everything here they're all inspirational instruments. Otherwise, they move on to a new home with someone who does find them inspirational. I've had plenty of gear that I've bought, and I've, it's not been quite my vibe, and I don't get the urge to turn it on. I pretty much have a policy that if I haven't turned a synth on in, a few months or whatever, then may as well sell it and give it to someone else. And I know people that have bought gear that I've had, and they're making amazing music with it, and they're getting far more inspiration out of certain pieces than I did. So that's what you've got to do. There's no use keeping gear if it's not going to inspire you. Anyway, I've just gone off on a massive tangent there. So are the synths on a Jasper's stand? Yes, they are indeed on a Jasper's stand. They are incredible stands. That whole stand I can pick up with, literally I could pick up with one finger. Once I took the synths off, of course. It weighs virtually nothing and just made of the most incredible aluminium, and super lightweight and just strong as anything. Absolutely incredible. Robert St. John says, I've seen so many claim the Moog One can't sound classic. Nah, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. It definitely can. It's, I mean, of course, if you program a patch with a million things going off and extra effects and things, there are no synths that ever did that. So it doesn't, there are no classic synths that had all these crazy, amazing built-in digital effects and stuff back in the day. So, of course, it's not going to sound like that. But I mean, if you take all that stuff off, and as you listen, if you go back and listen to some of the things I played before, some of those big pads, you can take the effects off. Man, they sound legit to me. Absolutely. How's it feel lifting that thing? Like you're competing in... Yeah, it's got a bit of weight to it. I'm not going to lie. It does weigh a fair bit. Yeah. It's manageable. Like, I mean, I can pick it up on my own and bring it in and put it on the desk here. No problem. But it's weighty. Mike Schwifty says, I got to spend a few hours in the back room at Taramara with the Moog One, and it was so overwhelming, so capable. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot to it. But really, they're all, if you break down the here you go, look at that instead of my mug. If you break this down, it's all quite straightforward. I mean, you've got things like, you've got your 4 LFOs, okay? And then if you want to route them to anything, it's super easy. You literally just press here what you want to route it to. Mod wheel, the pad, X or Y axis, the keyboard, velocity, aftertouch, or expression. So you go, right, I want to route, this to, I don't know, what's this? Pulse width or whatever. You can just click that, bang, put that amount, and it's done. It's routed. It's really simple like that. And everything else is sort of where you'd expect. I mean, you've got all your control panel here. That's all standard stuff. Glide, octave. You've got an arpeggiator, a sequencer. This is for anyone who hasn't actually seen this much. You've got your detune stuff here. You've got a chord learn function here. These are just your oscillators like anything. You've got your oscillator octaves and frequencies and wave types, and it just moves across like any standard synth. basically. Just ignoring this control center for the minute, and you got your mixer here for your oscillators, your ring mod, your noise, your filters. This is what took me a bit of getting used to the filters. Having both I'm used to using synths basically with one filter. So having a state variable filter and a ladder filter that you can link the cutoff, two separate filters, two separate amounts of resonance. You can mix between the two filters. Then the state variable you can have low pass, high pass, band pass, or notch. Low pass or high pass for the ladder at 6, 12, 18, or 24 decibel slope. And then you can run them in parallel, or you can run them in series. And then you can route which of the oscillators go to which filter, or both. Now that was, to me, the I guess most complicated part so far I've had to figure out, because I haven't really had a synth. But once you see it, you go, right, I want to have oscillator 1 going into just the state variable filter, I want oscillator 2 just going into the ladder filter, and I want oscillator 3 going into both of them in parallel. Done. That's all you're going to need to worry about. And that doesn't sound like anything because I've turned that off. But, that's pretty much it. Then you got your envelopes here and your effects. And if you want it, the cool thing is, I love this system of, if you want to menu dive into one area more, you just press this little triangle button on the corner of everything. So if I go, right, okay, here's my performance set, and I want to set that up more, then I just press that button, and bang, there you go. There's your performance set up. If I want to mess with the amplifier envelope more than these knobs and buttons allow here, just press that, and there we go. We get a visual graph and a representation of the amplifier envelope and all the extra parameters. So it's kind of all there. It's all there. I mean, you can menu dive if you want, but you can definitely make sounds without having to menu dive. Absolutely, 100%. Anyway, there you go. So yeah, it can be complicated, but it can also be quite. I guess I say it can be complicated. That's not true. It's complicated as you want to make it. I guess if you have 4 different LFOs modulating all stuff, you can definitely make complicated sounds. Let's put it that way. But it's not a complicated instrument. It looks overwhelming. There's a lot on it, but it's not. I remember the first time people saw the Nord stage coming from keyboards that was sort of very much simpler. It was like, oh, these knobs. It's like, this is just so complicated. Well, it's not really. You've got the organ section, you've got a piano section, you've got a synth section. It's all very laid out. You just got to sort of approach it in a linear sort of logical fashion. Anyway, moving along. Would there be a sonic improvement sending your synth through a DI? I don't. Possibly. It would just change the sound. I mean, I've got them going right in at the moment, direct into a Focusrite Claret down there, which has absolutely fantastic pre's. It's great, lovely, works very well. But yeah, I mean, you can put it through anything. You can put it through preamps, you can put it through DIs. But I'm more than happy with the sound of these synths going straight into a really nice interface like the Claret. Big fan. Vermana says, presets are sometimes full of certain styles of sounds depending on the year the synth was made. Absolutely. But changing a preset to better suit your needs is a great start to learn sound programming. Yeah, for sure, man. When I get a new synth, I go between, getting like an init patch, a completely blank patch up, and making stuff from scratch. Or if there's some cool presets that are sort of might inspire a certain direction, you can take elements from that and then take them in different directions. I'm not one of these purists that go, no, you've got to erase everything from the synth and you have to make everything from a saw wave from the ground up. Otherwise, it's that's just rubbish. If something inspires you, modify it. There might be something there that's 60% of the way towards makes you hear a particular sound, and you can modify that into something great. That's I think you need to embrace that for sure. For sure. If I had a pair of high-end channel strips, which of your synths would you send through it? Whichever ones I was recording at the time. Replying, great stream, Mike. Thanks for the time and effort to live vicariously. No worries, Robert St. John. My pleasure, mate. My pleasure. Do you think you could get a ribbon strip-like effect using the XY pad, CS80 kind of thing? I'm not sure, man. I mean, it's quite small. It's quite a small ribbon pad. So I'm not sure. I imagine you'd be able to, I think you'd be able to put pitch to it. But I mean, you've only got, what's that, about, maybe 2 inches of real estate to work with, as opposed to a proper, a big ribbon strip. You've got a lot more, couple of feet or whatever on some instruments. So I don't know if there would be much point, but you might be able to do that. I'd have to look into it for you. Vermana says pulse width modulation is great, but sometimes synths had option for only one oscillator. Using more than ones can lead to massive sounds. Absolutely. Thinking Blade Runner, yes. What camera do I use for my live streams? I've got 2 Lumix cameras. That's a Panasonic Lumix with a Leica lens. That's a Panasonic Lumix without a Leica lens. That's a these are webcams now, so that's a Logitech webcam. That's a Logitech webcam, but I just balanced the color to make them look a little more similar to this. Have I had any hum, noise, grounding issues not using an isolation transformer or direct box between the synth and the claret? No, I haven't. It's been quiet as a mouse. Aquatic Borealis says, amazing demo. The Moog One sounds are incredible and your playing is equal to the instrument. Aquatic Borealis, thank you so much. I'm going to find a nice big cinematic sound to end this stream on, because that's what I feel like doing. Let's have a look what we have here. What were we into? Let's load some presets. Go back to, what have we got here? Let's go back to the Moog. I like the Moog Moog factory patches. Pretty cool. All right. DSLR. Yeah, well, that's what these are. These 2 marvellouses. But don't forget, if you do that, then you've also got to buy capture cards to put inside your PC and everything else. So it all mounts up. I like this. Which one was this? It was a really nice. Yeah. Some nice resonances and stuff. There we go. How many factory patches loaded? Mate, I have no idea. This came with a whole bunch of patches. I don't know what actually came from the factory and what was loaded on here when I got it. So I can't say with anything definitive. But there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm going to take these resonances off because I feel like it. Just feeling a little less resonance at this point in time. Here we go. All right. That's nice. I like that. I'm going to have a noodle with that sound. It does sound awesome with lots of resonance, but I'm feeling like less resonance right now. Here we go. Oh, there you go. That's been a quick first look at the Moog One synth. Oh, Thomas Burnett, thank you so much for the super chat, man. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Good night. You're welcome for the lullaby. I'll see you soon. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all very soon, no doubt. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. There'll be a lot of more content going up over the coming weeks and months, so be sure to subscribe there. And also, if you haven't yet, be sure to go to the Discord, which I will put a link in right now. If I can click on the right place. And there you go. If you go there, you'll get a link to the Discord invite. And then you can join that and keep in touch between streams and talk about synths and nerd out and all that kind of cool stuff. There's a good community there. So thank you all again for tuning in. No worries, Vimana. You're welcome. It is a super rich sound, Robert. Absolutely. Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, thanks again. I'll see you all shortly. Have a good rest of your weekend, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now.